Just weeks ago, we once again learned that a mass shooter committed a mass murder in an American school, this time in Santa Fe High School in Texas. And once again, we mourn the loss of students who had their whole lives ahead of them, but will never get to live them. But we're not simply here to offer our thoughts and prayers. That's just not simply enough. Today we stand with students and teachers and moms and families across America, torn apart by gun violence, to say never again, to say enough is enough, to say that we demand action. And to the students who are here as part of this movement, I want you to know that your constant engagement is so critical, because I think you are working to pierce the conscience of the Congress. I know that you're tired, as the mayor suggested, of practicing active shooter drills, tired of hearing that gun violence is just a way of life, tired of going to school each day wondering if you'll come back home alive. And as your senator, I know that we deserve better. Now, too many of my colleagues in Congress fear a backlash from the NRA. Well, I think it's time they fear a backlash from each and every American who wants serious gun control. Now, throughout my life, I have always worked hard to get a good grade. But I am proud of my big fat F from the NRA, and I look forward to continuing it. People of New Jersey can count on me to continue to put our lives first before the interests of the gun lobby. Now, many of you participated in the March for Our Lives and witnessed the power of protest for the very first time. Whether you marched in DC or here in New Jersey, wrote to your elected officials, or registered to vote for the first time, keep making your voices heard. Now, sitting in Congress are sensible solutions that could save lives, solutions that deserve a vote in the House of Representatives and in the United States Senate. Solutions like the bill that I have co-sponsored to bring back the assault weapons ban that I first voted for in 1994. We need to bring back the assault weapons ban. From Parkland to Newtown to Tucson to Las Vegas, we learned that assault weapons are not designed for hunting. They are not for self-defense. They are not for protecting your home. They are designed for killing. These weapons are modeled after the military assault rifles that our soldiers use in battle. And they have no place in our streets and in our schools. Likewise, it's time that we limit high-capacity magazines that let gunmen fire 30, 60, or even 100 rounds in just minutes. My bill, the Keep America Safe Act, limits those magazines to just 10 rounds. You don't need 100 rounds if you're hunting for a deer. 100 rounds is about killing people, not about hunting at the end of the day. And finally, it's time that we close every single loophole in our background check system. We need a universal background check system. It's too easy. It's too easy for bad guys to buy guns in one state, then drive to another and traffic them in our streets. It's too easy for domestic abusers and suspected terrorists and severely mentally ill individuals and people with a history of violent behavior to buy guns. But it's apparently too hard for the president and for this Republican Congress to pass universal background checks on every gun that is sold. We know that it doesn't matter whether a gun is sold at a store, at a gun show, or online with a click of a mouse. When our lives are on the line, we need universal and thorough background checks on every gun sold in America. We fight for these reforms, and as we fight for these reforms, there's one other thing I want to call your attention to. It's a challenge to our own laws here in New Jersey. We must defend New Jersey's strong gun laws. We have some of the highest, strictest standards in the nation. And guess what? We have the 6th lowest rate of gun-related deaths in the nation. That's still too much, but it's far better than just about everywhere else in the country. But today, the NRA is actively pursuing legislation in the Congress called the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. And here's what it means. Some states give concealed carries, meaning you can have a gun that is invisible, permits to just about anyone. People who happen to be on the terrorist watch list, people who are domestic abusers, people who may have a mental illness, their background checks are minimal, if any. Well, we have higher, tougher standards, and it works for what works for a rural state like Iowa may not work for a state of 9 million people like New Jersey. We don't want out-of-state guns to have reciprocity here in New Jersey, in our schools, in our shopping malls, on the train station, in the path, or anywhere in our state. And I will fight with every breath I have to stop the concealed carry weapons effort. Now, I had hoped that out of the tragedy and the remarks that President Trump meant about standing up to the NRA that he actually meant it. I was hopeful. But now he spouts the same old talking points straight from the gun lobby. He says it's time to arm our teachers and harden our schools. Well, I've talked to a lot of teachers, and I haven't met a teacher who wants guns in their classroom. I haven't met one who wants to arm themselves and make that decision in their life in front of their students. And let's get real. Arming teachers won't stop the next Las Vegas or Orlando. Only we can do that in the Congress of the United States with common sense gun laws. So this battle won't be easy to win. It won't be easy to win. There's a lot of money and effort behind the gun lobby, but I'm convinced that we can win it. We must reject those who say that we the people are powerless in the face of this carnage, because we're not powerless. In the United States of America, if there is anything more powerful, it's when people come together to speak truth to power. So when the NRA says that gun violence is inevitable, we stand with the students at Parkland and Santa Fe and say, never again. When we hear that Congress is just too polarized, just too dysfunctional to take any action, we say never again. And if those who do the bidding of the NRA in Washington refuse to take action, then we the people will go to the polls in 2018 and we will say never again to you as well. We will not back down, we will not be silent, and we will not let the passage of time be our enemy. Together, we need to march on, we need to protest on, we need to boycott on, and we need to vote so that this year, those beholden to the NRA are swept away by a tsunami of the will of the American people. There may be 20 million or so NRA members, but there are 320 million Americans, and we can make a difference. And it starts here in Hoboken.